Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This is my boomstick.
Here's Johnny.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Righteous! Righteous! Yeah!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Houston, we have a problem.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
All right.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Those Film Nerds Podcast. My name is Will Spalding, and as always, I am joined by a similar person to the character that we'll be talking to in this week's movie, Sam Dierberger. Sam, how are you doing?
Oh, I wish. I'm doing well. How are you, Will?
Fantastic. I was just telling you off air, but I better let the listeners know too that I have recently signed up for my COVID shot. So in a few days I will be what's the term? Invincible?
We're thinking like Bruce Willis from Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know, you will never get sick again, first of all. And that's just basic cable. That's the start of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm also going to get superhuman strength. So
that too. You're going to start riding on trains that crash for fun.
And not die. Yep.
And not die.
It's going to be great. And M. Night Shyamalan's going to be there. So it's going to be awesome. I think it's M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, but one of the two. But Sam, we have a packed show tonight. We have some industry news, of course, the movie of the week, and then some recommendations. And what is that second segment? What is the movie of the week?
This week we're talking about Nobody.
So they took maybe $20 on an old watch. Mr. Matson, did you even take a swing?
No. Could have taken her, Dad.
Oh, could they have taken her? I don't know. Well,
could have happened.
We'll have to debate that later if she could have taken him. Mm-hmm. But for now, there's a little bit of industry news I want to talk about, Sam, and I have two bits, and they're both casting news. And I think both are moderately interesting.
Yeah.
One in terms of the person, the other in terms of the movie. And I'll start with I feel like we have a new casting update like once a week now for this movie, but it's Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm about to say?
I do. I read this.
We have Paul Dano playing his father.
Finally, Paul Dano is getting busy again.
Oh my gosh, this guy is so talented, and I know we use this term a lot, but this guy is legitimately one of the great actors of his generation too.
Oh, definitely. And he's not appreciated.
Oh,
he's
for
really
sure,
not appreciated. I might have told this before, but you know, his breakout role, really his only like notable role, like in terms of widespread popularity, in There Will Be Blood, he was originally cast as Eli Sunday's brother, which is a very minor role in the film.
Yeah.
Like appears in maybe 2 scenes. And then the other actor they had, I guess, dropped out, and Paul Thomas Anderson just moved him into Eli's role. So he wasn't even originally casted for that. And he stepped into it, and it's of course one of the great like antagonistic performances of the 21st century, I would say. Certainly.
Yeah, he's great in that movie, but you know, he's really good in Prisoners and Little Miss Sunshine, and you know, 12 Years a Slave. I mean, horrible character, but man, great performance, and he's so versatile. And you know, this honestly makes me excited for his role in the Batman too. You know, he's gonna be playing the Riddler, another kind of creepy role that he's gonna do so well at. And Man, how do you feel about him playing Spielberg's father?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was gonna mention that piece, like Spielberg's father. Well, apparently, when I originally read this article, I don't know too much about Spielberg's upbringing. I probably have to watch this movie, but what I learned was Spielberg was actually very, very close to his father, which is kind of funny because with a lot of artists, particularly film, writers, directors, with a lot of them, it seems like their father is a very tyrannical presence in their life. Growing up, like, you saw this with what is it, Honey Boy with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Like they have, at best, a lot of them have complicated relationships with their father. But I learned from this article that Spielberg growing up, his father was very encouraging, like bought him his first camera, took him to the movies, like helped out, like basically single-handedly inspired him to pursue filmmaking. And his father lived a long time. I think his father just died a few years ago.
Dang, and Spielberg's
at a very old age. So yeah. I mean, I didn't know that. That's just an interesting piece. I don't know how well that'll work for drama in the film, but
sure. I'm excited to see this. I don't even know if we mentioned this, but we also, maybe this was about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we have Seth Rogen as his uncle. Did you see this as well?
Yeah, I did.
That'll be interesting. I mean, Rogen, obviously, primarily people know him as a comedic actor, but he's pretty rangy. I mean, we've seen him in, or at least I've seen him in Steve Jobs as the Woz. And he's really good in that. So
he's excellent in Funny People as well.
Yeah. So Rogen interests me here too. So this project is going to be a good one. Let's just say that.
Very strange, but we're excited. And then I think I can guess what the other piece of casting news you have is.
Okay, I'm thinking you can guess too, but let's hear it.
Could you possibly be talking about the Indiana Jones 5 news?
I haven't. I think there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies, Sam. I don't think I've seen. Is there a 4th one? I'm not aware.
Oh, they're making the 4th one right now.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Right. That.
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, I can't believe they got Harrison Ford back to do an Indiana Jones movie after like 35 years, but he's coming back. Which is kind of annoying because, end of Last Crusade is such a perfect ending, right? Literally riding off into the sunset.
Right. Exactly.
Why would you even want to make a 4th movie?
Right.
These crazy people.
Hopefully it just doesn't have aliens.
There is literally no way they could screw up this movie except by putting aliens in it. Okay? You just avoid the aliens, it'll be a perfect film. And it'll be excellent.
Right. Is he fighting Nazis in this one again? Time traveling Nazis?
Well, yeah. I mean, presumably.
That's the only way I want this to go.
You got Indian cults and you got Nazis. Those are the only 2 options.
Right. Actually, so serious. What? So this is Indiana Jones 5, obviously, unfortunately. But what timeline do we have here, Sam? What year is it? Do you know?
Oh my goodness! I from what we understand, it will be taking place in the late 60s. Okay, and
I'd love to see some Cold War stuff.
Yeah. Well, we saw in Crystal Skull, which really shouldn't exist, but we saw it anyway. Crystal Skull, which came out like 2008. So that was like 13 years ago. It took place in like 1955. So logically, this will take place 1968-ish.
Okay. All right.
Or happening. Indy is, he's getting up there in years.
He is.
But the main question is, what the heck is he going to be pursuing? What artifact are we looking for?
It's going to be Cold War, or I hope it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what
we've heard a lot of whispers about the Fountain of Youth. which would be cool because
That'd be very
he's
cool.
old.
The Soviets trying to get to the Fountain of Youth at the same time Indiana Jones is. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm not letting go.
I've
of
also heard whispers about Bermuda Triangle. A lot of interesting stuff there. I don't know. I'm excited because I'll watch Harrison Ford in anything, and I mean anything.
Yeah.
So,
well, you did watch The Call of the Wild like 15 times in a matter of a week. So
Harrison, such a committed performance in Call of the Wild.
Oh, for sure. He's not phoning it in at all. But no, so the original news, we have Phoebe Waller.
We went off.
Yeah. We have Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Fleabag, who recently just won a Globe to set as a co-star. Not sure who her character is. Maybe Shia LaBeouf's wife. We just have no idea.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Shia LaBeouf will not be returning, though.
Oh, thank you.
We do know that. But here's the other piece of it that's really interesting. I would talk about Phoebe Waller-Bridge more, but I really don't know much about her. Like, I know the name. I've heard she's talented, but I just haven't seen her in anything, so I don't know what to make of it. But John Williams will be returning to score the film. John Williams is 88 years old. Incredible commitment to his craft. John Williams, the greatest of all time, truly.
Yeah, that does blow my mind, actually. I mean, obviously he's the greatest scorer of all time, probably, but man, he's still cooking.
Can you even name a recognizable piece of film music that is not by John Williams? Like,
yeah, I mean,
Psycho.
Yeah, like Hans Zimmer's done a lot of stuff I really like, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean, Williams is the best and will likely always be the best. So, but I guess, Sam, does it surprise you that he's coming back with no Spielberg, though? I mean, that would have been a perfect opportunity to just say, nah, I'm not coming back. Like, my buddy's gone.
Right. No, I mean, Spielberg is still there as a producer.
Yep, I get that. A little different, though.
Lucas is attached somehow. I don't understand how.
I hope he's directing. I hope they pull an audible and say, "Bye, Mangold. We're having Lucas."
Mangold, you just don't have the touch. We're gonna have Lucas direct this one.
We're gonna have George take over here.
I don't remember the last movie that George directed.
Oh, I think it's Revenge. I think it's Revenge of the Sith.
No, he made like a World War II movie in like 2011.
Really?
I think it was called. It was like it flopped. It was like I think it was called Red Tails.
I'm looking this up.
Yes, 2012. Okay, I'm pretty good at this. Oh yeah, it's about the Tuskegee Institute, the Tuskegee Airmen. Yeah, Red Tails.
And he directed it?
He co-directed it, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what George Lucas is doing anymore. Just counting his billions, sitting at Skywalker Ranch, waiting to die. But he is he's going to be involved somehow. So I guess that gives John Williams reason to come back.
Well, when you have a visionary like George Lucas.
When you have a visionary like George Lucas. George Lucas is proof that you only need one good idea. And I mean one good idea to succeed.
Oh gosh. Hey, but that good idea brought us Star Wars, so we are eternally grateful for you, George.
Of course.
But Sam, with that being said, are we ready to, unless you have anything else of news?
No, I don't. You covered the one I was going to say.
Perfect. Let's get into Nobody.
Nobody.
You had some excitement last night. I wish they'd have picked my place, you know? Why didn't you take him out? I was
Just trying to keep the damage to a minimum.
How's that working out for you?
You okay? Because you don't look okay. There's a long dormant piece of me. Not so very badly wants out.
Odenkirk.
Bob.
So, Sam, you mentioned this, I think, as soon as we got off the show last week. You were like, why don't we do Nobody? Like, it's Odenkirk. I'm like, okay, like, yeah, sure. And the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, I've seen this movie already. And I'm thinking, man, this is totally off brand for Sam. So this will be interesting. So I guess with that, so break it down. Where'd you see this movie? What'd you think?
I went and saw this at an AMC down the road. And I had, pretty low expectations considering this came from the same people who made John Wick. And, I didn't hate it. So that's something.
Good.
And a lot of that, we'll get into this, but a lot of it has to do with Bob Odenkirk's ability. I'm a massive Bob Odenkirk fan. I think he's a true one of these people who can truly walk the line between drama and comedy, and he does it well.
I only
and
know, but sure, go for it.
I think that this movie is what it advertises. And I think people who are expecting another John Wick are going to be pleasantly surprised. I think people like me who dislike that kind of mode of movie are also going to be pleasantly surprised by some of the underlying messaging here. I think there's some interesting stuff to dissect.
Sure.
But mostly, it is what it is. So with that, Will, what are your initial thoughts on Nobody?
Yeah, I have to say, so I saw this at a Cinemark in Ames, Iowa, and I will go into the theater, watch all the trailers, and the lights have not been dimmed yet during the trailers. I thought that was a bit odd. And then the movie starts, and the lights are still not even off. They're not even dim. The lights are 100% on.
Wow.
And we're like 7 minutes into the movie. There's like 4 people on it. It's me and like a few others. And the scene where the people are breaking in their house, we put it in the trailer.
Yeah.
You couldn't see anything because the lights are on.
God.
About 8 minutes in, the lights finally went off. But that was one of the weirder theater experiences I've had. I guess they just forgot to turn the lights off. Anyway,
kids.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, I put in a massive complaint. They'll be hearing from me later.
Cinemark in Ames, Iowa. Half-star review.
But no, I knew exactly what this movie was going to be, and I liked it. I really did. Don't kind of like you were saying, Sam, don't walk into this movie thinking you're gonna see some Oscar stuff going on here, because you just won't. Don't walk into this thinking there's gonna be a ton of seriousness, or it's not gonna be a super dramatic movie. But I walked in knowing what this was gonna be. It stuck to what it was gonna be, and I liked it.
Yeah, totally.
Lot of action. I'm a John Wick fan. I'm not sure if this is better than John Wick. It might be, in my opinion, but this was good. I liked this a lot. A little toned down compared to John Wick, which seems seems weird to say because this was still bonkers, but still a little toned down.
Maybe it takes a little longer to get bonkers.
That too.
Although part of it, I will say, one of the biggest draws of this movie is that it is, 92 minutes.
Yeah, it's super short.
It got going right away. which I appreciated. And I'm not talking about like the action, because the action does take a little bit to start brewing. But in terms of like establishing characters and establishing this man Hutch's everyday life,
They did that within 10 minutes. It was good.
They did that within 10 minutes, and it was really seamlessly done.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of telling, it's all showing. It's just montage. And the montages are some of the quickest montages I have ever seen.
Yeah, they're really quick cuts.
Like they are half-second cuts.
Yeah.
Just boom, 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 boom. And then we have the days being subtitled on the screen.
Right. Yeah, we do a whole week in a matter of like literally like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Yeah, and so we see all that, and then we also, we see his like daily routine with the days, but we also see his relationship with his wife and how that is going within 5 minutes as well. He goes to bed at night and there's a pillow that separates them, and we really find out a lot about this character within the first 5 minutes. Pretty much essentially everything you need to know about this character, within the first 10 minutes.
Right, exactly.
And from there, you just get to relax in the movie and watch what's going on instead of trying to figure out who this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
Who this nobody is.
And we're rooting for him,
Yeah, for sure.
That's also crucial. Because, I care a lot. A lot of movies today, we have people that we're supposed to cheer for that we just don't really want to cheer for.
Right. That's my favorite movie of the year so far. So I care a lot.
I know the moral conflicts were just fascinating. But yeah, with this we have Hutch, and if we're getting into the plot a little bit, we have Hutch, and he's an ordinary family man. Works a regular 9 to 5. Kind of an archetypal story. The owner of the factory that he works at, that's his father-in-law.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like, is a trope in so many movies and TV shows and books. I feel like that's a major story trope, and I really didn't realize this until after watching it. But the idea of a middle-aged man working at his father-in-law's company shows up everywhere, I feel like. Am I the only one who gets that?
I guess, yeah. I had never thought of it either, but I suppose, yeah, I guess we do see that a decent amount.
Where have I seen that before? I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have Hutch, and he's just drifting through life. And within, like you say, like 10 minutes, we've established this character, and basically his house gets robbed.
Yeah, and this is this is the first time we actually see that something's going on more than just his everyday life. Obviously we know from the trailer he's some sort of assassin or something to that nature. But we finally see there's conflict within him, and he doesn't know what to do because he knows he can easily take them. His son even said it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. And we learn why later. We learn that the gun was not loaded, and he could tell they were obviously scared. So we finally established that they're not finally, because this is still pretty quick. We established that there's a lot of conflict going on within him. And he says in the trailer too, there's he wanted to give up this life for a family, but it's still a part of him, this killer part of him. And he still wants to do that. Right. So it's an interesting dynamic for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have that. And we also have a pretty effective scene the morning after that one, where the neighbor next door has a really nice vintage sports car. Forget the model, know nothing about cars. But and he's kind of, we see another kind of typical trope where there's some like middle class aggression going on, like some masculine one-upping, and this neighbor says to him, like, man, if they broke into my house, they'd have it coming, and we kind of see this as one of the catalysts for Hutch to start questioning why he's living this neutered, toned back life.
Yeah, just for the record, I'm pretty sure it was the Kia Sorrento.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, one thing that I did not like about this movie is just how many people were telling him that, you could have taken him, or why didn't you do anything? Like, I mean, we had the police officer, his kid, his brother-in-law, his neighbor, his father-in-law hints at it. I was like, come on, like, no, there's no way this many people are telling you that you should have taken him.
Well, he handled it like any normal person would do.
Right, they have a gun. I mean,
they have a gun.
Yeah, and I mean, he knew it wasn't loaded, but nobody else knows that.
Right.
So that was a little weird, and I wasn't quite sure why they kept beating it over the head. I understand that it's for purposes of he's supposed to start realizing that maybe I did want to do something about it. I should, but I don't know. It was they kept beating it over the head, and I was a little tired of it after about the fourth or fifth time of them saying it.
Well, yeah, if they didn't have those, then this movie would be 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, that's true.
He'd have to take a lot longer to realize.
Well, from there, we kind of go, and we're still seeing his kind of daily routine because he's not really sure exactly what he wants to do yet until his daughter. And this is the integral part of this movie, Sam.
Yes.
His daughter is missing her kitty cat bracelet.
Not okay.
He cannot. Oh, no. He cannot let that fly. So he somehow figures out who stole from him. Someone over the radio is helping him a little bit. We're not sure who, though, at this point. Although, no, we're not sure who yet. We figure out later.
Yeah.
He goes to his dad to also get some help. And who is that actor? Because he's in everything, but I can never think of his name. And
his name's Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, Christopher Lloyd, that's right.
Probably most famous for
Back to the Future. And Cuckoo,
definitely.
But yeah, I saw him and I was
Cuckoo's
like,
Nest.
gosh, I
Yes,
can never
of
remember
course.
that guy's name.
I get him confused with Christopher Lee a lot. Christopher Lee has since died, but Christopher Lee played Count Dooku in the prequels.
Yeah. He's Saruman too, and
Yep. That's right.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah. So yeah, we have him, which I was like, oh, okay, cool. I like this guy. I couldn't remember his name, but and he's some sort of killer too. So we learn it runs in the family.
He's an FBI agent. We find out later.
Yeah. We have Hutch. Hutch takes his badge, his dad's FBI badge, and he's kind of going because he saw a tattoo on the girl that was robbing him. Maybe it was the guy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And he's going to all the tattoo parlors, and he's drawn a blank for a while until he comes across this one that is smarter than all the other ones, and they recognize that that's not him in the badge, and that FBI badge is expired. It looks like they're going to fight. What did you, Sam? What did you think about this scene? Because someone sees the tattoo on his arm, and they immediately stop. What did you think of that? Was that fine to you, or was that a little?
It works because it was playing with our expectations. Because everyone who's seeing this movie knows that it's going to be hyper violent and a lot of action, a lot of fighting, and then it kind of teases us a little. Okay, fine, but also that feels a little cheap in and of itself, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Like they see the tattoo, and then at that point you're like edge of your seat. Oh, it's happening now, and then we wait a little bit, and where the plot goes later, kind of. I should say where the plot goes immediately after that is interesting because then we have the violence. The first violent scene, the first action scene occurs because of somewhat unrelated events, apparently unrelated events.
Right. So he figures out whose tattoo it is and he goes to their house and he ends up leaving the house after realizing that they also have a child. And which I actually liked, you know, he kind of realizes that he's doing all of this for his children and they were doing this for their child as well. You know, he ends up taking the watch back, but he kind of realizes that, you know, everyone's kind of doing their own thing for their children because that's what most people care about most. So that was effective, actually. I did like that a lot.
Yeah.
That was a good moment. But then we get to the action scene that you were teasing, which was I liked. It was a good opening action sequence, and not really an opening, but a good first action sequence, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These guys kind of get on the bus, and they're not really doing necessarily anything illegal, but you know they're not good guys. Obviously, they're thinking like there's kind of hints that they might sexually assault this girl. So essentially, Bob Hutch, you know, he decides he's gonna beat him up. Sam, what do you think of the scene?
I mean, it happens pretty quickly because it's like, or his realization that he's going to beat them up happens pretty quickly. Because it's not like he's forced into it, you know. It's not like he's forced into defending himself or anything. No. He pulls the bus over. He makes the bus driver get out. And then he walks back in and tells them, I'm gonna hurt you with some expletives.
Right.
And there's like, how many guys are there? There's like 6 guys.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's pretty bold. And the audience is sitting there like, what?
Yeah.
Like that is wild for such a small space. But he really uses that to his advantage as we learn. And that gets into like some of the play-by-play on the action. But what I really appreciated about it was it integrated the fact that they were on the bus to a T, you know.
I was going to say that. I love the bus
banging
setting.
Heads against the poles and everything.
I loved the bus setting because, you know, typically in a fight like this, they're just on the street and there's not really any elements around them. It's just some dudes in the street fighting. You know, they don't have any anything around them, anything else to use. So the idea to go with the bus or to have this fight scene be on the bus was really a great idea. But then the execution of the actual fight scene on the bus, to not make it look clunky and to actually use the bus, not just be on the bus, was really great.
Right. Yeah. No, I thought it worked well. It was intensely satisfying to watch.
Agreed. Yeah, and he does hurt them. You're right.
He hurts them.
He takes a beating himself, which I also appreciated. I liked that he wasn't like invincible and could fight anyone anytime and just beat them up easily. You know,
right.
It makes sense that he's been out of this game for a long time and he should struggle a little bit when he's fighting. So that was clever as well, that they didn't just That they didn't just say essentially he's all powerful. No, he struggled a little bit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So yeah, the bus scene works well. Probably the scene of the movie for me, honestly.
Really? Are you serious?
Probably, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That or something later on that we'll get to. But yeah, I really enjoyed that.
So we go on and he goes home and we kind of start to see his relationship with his wife progress. You know, it becomes apparent that she knew him before his family life, and that she knows he's some sort of trained killer, because she's perfectly happy to stitch him up from the stab wound he has.
Yeah.
You know, and they kind of bond for a bit, and everything's looking on the up and up, Sam. And you know, he's making lasagna tomorrow, so
so you know he's hit his stride. You
right.
know? He's beat his midlife crisis.
Yes. And we pretty much from there we get right into the next action sequence.
Yes.
Is there anything else of worthy to note before the next action sequence, Sam? Do you want to talk about any of that? This is an action movie, though.
Yeah, apparently. I walked in looking for a rom-com, but
I didn't find it. So
I didn't find. I was like, when are we going to flesh out this relationship with his wife? Because there seems to be some interesting things going on.
And I wanted the son to have some sort of high school girlfriend too. So
that would have been. Oh, what if his son was dating one of the gang members or something? I don't know. Gang member's kid. I don't know. Something juicy. But again, then the runtime would be even longer. So we can't be having that.
Well, besides the point, we essentially he really hurts. Was it the guy that he put the straw in his throat?
I think it was.
I think it was too, which super cool, by the way. I mean, it was gross, but I was like, oh man, that's awesome. Like it's almost like he's helping him
out.
out.
I mean, he's helping him out. It's almost more like if you get beat up that bad, don't you kind of want to die at that point?
Oh gosh,
like,
he took it.
But I guess if you're having trouble breathing, you don't want to die that way either. I don't know. It's a 50-50. But anyway.
Well, either way, he ends up dying. And the Russian mob is pissed. Which was a little cliche that they're Russians and he killed a mob member. That was like, okay. But it is what it is. You have to somehow insert more action. You can't just have this guy go looking for fights all the time.
Yeah, right.
We have another fight scene at his house. And he kind of tells his family to get in the basement, and he shuts this door that he uses from some key code or punch code or something.
Yeah.
And we realize like, oh my gosh, this guy's serious. And I mean, the first time he had like 6 guys on a bus with no guns, and now he has like 20 guys in a house with guns. How this fight scene compare to the previous one, Sam, for you?
Yeah, so the suspension of disbelief is a little higher with 20 guys with machine guns.
Well, he had a baseball bat. I don't know if you saw that.
Well, he had a baseball bat. I mean, it's basically an even matchup at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, some really good action. Absolutely destroys his house. A lot of bullets going through walls, that whole thing. Some pretty cool stuff that happens on like the kitchen island, you know.
Yeah, I thought this whole sequence was really well choreographed, and I like this sequence a lot too.
Yeah, again, they were able to integrate the actual setting
yeah.
into the fight itself, you know, some plates being thrown and whatnot. Honestly, it was kind of overwhelming. It's a lot to look at once.
Yep.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It worked well. So I guess go
And
ahead.
again, he loses a little bit. You know, he kills a lot of people, and he loses, which again felt fitting. You know, he hasn't done this in a while. You know, it wouldn't be fair to say that he just wins fights automatically. So I like that. He gets captured by about 3 of them, and gets put in the trunk. And you know, he's just resourceful. He gets out.
He MacGyver's that stuff,
Yeah,
man.
he does. He gets out and kills those 3 as well. And you know, now I'm thinking he's going to go the whole way. He's just going to kill them all, which might as well.
Yeah, at that point, there's nothing left.
Right.
There's nothing left that you can't do. So yeah, I felt like that. I understand that we had to put Hutch in the trunk so that he could capture those guys and kill the main fella. I don't know his name, but anyway, I thought it was a little bit of a red herring that we had to have that whole sequence with him in the trunk and the fire extinguisher. But I don't know. That's just me. He causes the crash. And then he kind of, when he's back home, he goes on this monologue about his past. And we finally get some revelation about his life.
Yeah, we finally really, I mean, we knew about his present day life, but we figure out his past as well. And yeah, I like that a lot. I thought it at least did its job. It didn't last too long, so that was good.
Yeah. I gotta admit, when I first heard his monologue, I thought, just like knowing Odenkirk and knowing the type of character he would play, I thought he was joking. Like, I thought he was just making that up on the spot. Or his character was making that up on the spot.
Yeah.
It took me, I had to like finish the movie before I realized, oh no, he was being serious. That's why he has all these skills. I thought he was just a regular guy who just snapped one day and had to find some justification for why he was able to just kill 20 people. But
well, anyway,
my flaw. It's my problem.
We go on, and he calls his dad, which was one of the funniest parts of the movie. He calls his dad and says, like, his dad is in a nursing home, like, clearly not really able to, or we're thinking not really able to do much.
Yeah.
Calls his dad and says, like, I'm sorry, but like some guys are after me. Just be aware. And I think we'll just fast forward a little bit while we're on the topic. But 3 guys, or is it 2 or 3?
I think it's 2.
Okay. Well, 2 guys come to his house or his nursing home and are going to kill him. He just whips out a shotgun from his chair and kills them both and plays it off like he was watching a movie, which was so funny. I loved that.
He doesn't even get out of his chair. Does he get out of his chair?
No, he doesn't. He does not get out of his chair.
He was like, got this man begging for mercy underneath his arm. It's incredible. It's
great sequence because
and then we have the orderly come in. He's like, oh man,
turn the volume
keep it down in here.
Because he's watching some Western movie, so he just figures the gunshots were from the TV. Great sequence. Love that. And it kind of sets up that character as well for the last sequence, the last action sequence of the movie.
Right.
But from here, Odenkirk essentially decides, like, hey, I want to fight. Like, I'm into this. And he goes to the main bad guy's base, the main Russian's base, or whatever, the club, whatever it is, and brings a bomb and essentially says, like, hey, we can, well, he does this not after burning down his entire vault of money.
Why not?
Yeah, of course, I would too. But He essentially says, "Hey, we can shake hands and move on with our lives, or we can duke this out." And the Russian chooses B, duke this out. So, Odenkirk gives him a minute to think, and he kind of gets in his car, and he sees the Russian come out, and he smiles. Sam, what'd you think of that?
Yeah, it's kind of an indicator that he's like, oh yeah, I'm coming back to this life. I'm enjoying this vengeance. Do you think that the bomb was real?
Like his wife?
No, the bomb that he had.
Oh, excuse me. I thought you said mom. My bad. No, I hadn't even thought of it. No, I don't think it was. Solely
because he's not like suicidal. Like he's not willing to die.
No, he still wants to see his kids. Now, I think the bomb is more of a so you won't kill me on the spot. Or the fake bomb is the don't kill me on the spot because I'm in here. If you kill me, my finger will slip and we'll all blow up. It's essentially his ploy. So the Russians don't kill him right away. No, I would doubt it. Well, obviously not a real bomb, but I would doubt the movie intended it to be a real bomb either. So
right. Fair. Okay. Yes.
But from here, a little bit of a car sequence, and then we enter the last action sequence of the movie. He's kind of pinned down, and the guy we've been hearing on the radio who said it wouldn't help him, who we learn is his brother or a brother figure of some sort, is there helping him out along with his dad. So it was a good bonding time for them, I'm sure. So that was,
nothing brings people together like killing Russian mob members
in a factory.
Brutally in a factory.
It really does. It was a little like Home Alone, which for a second I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Home Alone. Okay, that's kind of cool. But then a little bit into it, I was like, okay, are we really playing the Home Alone card right now? Like,
it's a little, like, where is Macaulay? Why couldn't they get him?
Could we not get him? Oh, he auditioned. He auditioned, Sam.
He auditioned. They decided he was just too young.
Right. So, because it was funny, like, at the beginning, in the first action sequence, we see him cut a dude's throat open and stick a straw in it so he can breathe. Like, clearly they're not shying away from brutally showing things on screen and having him brutally kill people.
Yeah.
And then he sets up like nail traps. Like it felt a little it just the tone almost not tone, I don't know what the word is, but it felt off.
Yeah, sure.
But it was still fine. I wasn't like rolling my eyes the entire time and thinking, oh my gosh, this needs to end. I will say that was probably my least favorite of the three action scenes. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think that the reason, well, first of all, the absurdity of the movie, it does play into that. Like the movie is slightly self-aware about how absurd it is that this man has not died yet.
Yeah.
And like the killing is so excessive, it's almost laughable. So I guess the Home Alone stuff just kind of plays into that comic relief, that really, really just violent comic relief.
Right.
But it is there's kind of like a mischief to it, I mean, it didn't bother me too much. I thought the scene went on a little too long. I was honestly bored. About halfway through, I was just like, okay, well, we're really dragging this out, aren't we?
Yeah.
With a lot of guys. And of course, we have the final showdown between him and the main Russian, the leader, forget his name. And they're out of bullets, of course. They're out of bullets.
Oh, that was pretty funny. That was kind of bad.
And that is just so like, that is so cliched that had to be intentional. Like they are obviously playing into that trope.
Yeah. Which means ultimately it was still fine. I mean, they kind of wanted an interesting, fun way to, I say fun, but an interesting way to kill the main bad guy. So you know, nice. We have him charge at him with this big glass shield, and then blows him up.
Kind of creative.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Essentially, our three characters are our three family members. The two brothers, Hutch included, and their father, kind of, you know, they go pretty much unscathed. I mean, his brother gets shot, but you know, there's no indication that he's going to die. So,
right,
a happy ending essentially.
Pretty much. And then,
but what else do you have to say about the ending, Sam?
Well, first, I mean, I thought it was neat. We didn't talk about this. There's a cold open to this movie where he's getting interrogated. And we kind of have this full circle thing where we go back in time, and then the events of the movie lead up to the opening scene.
Right.
Where he's getting interrogated, and they say, "Who are you?" And he says, "Nobody. I'm a nobody." The thing about the interrogation scene is that it implies that he's getting charged with something. And then we see him in the next scene going off to look at houses. So
3 months later,
I mean, presumably he didn't get charged with anything. And it's like, well, you have like 30 men shot dead in cold blood, and you're the only person found at the scene. And you're just like, they were coming at me with guns. What are you going to do?
Right. Well, it's interesting. And it also implies, Sam, when they ask the question, does this house have a basement? It implies, you know, he's back in the game.
Yes.
And as a spouse, I just can't imagine the stress that would put on you. So, not sure what their deal is. But I mean, that's obviously setting it up for sequels. Sam, would you see a sequel to Nobody?
I guess so.
Odenkirk gets recast.
And yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I don't know. Odenkirk is old. He is, I mean, he's good at looking young with makeup, but he's getting up there. I mean, to be fair, so is Keanu Reeves, but
we didn't really talk about Odenkirk. How did you think he did here?
I think he did well. I really did. Yeah, a little bit. And he's said in interviews like, this is not my typical character, you know?
Yeah.
Which he has that awareness, you know? But he also knows that, like, the absurdity of what he's doing.
Right.
He knows that he can play into his comedic instincts that way. Because people forget, you know, Odenkirk started out as an SNL writer. Like, he was never a dramatic actor until basically Breaking Bad. And even then, in Breaking Bad, he's the foil. He's the comic relief. So people forget his roots now, but he's really come into his own as a dramatic actor now. And this is actually, in a weird way, a good fitting role for him because it's absurd and crazy and wild. But he also has to have this like seriousness to it. So I thought he did well.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you heard this, but it was kind of going around for promotional efforts. He had some break-ins in his house, actually, which inspired him to do an action movie. So this is almost a biopic, really.
That's how it comes down. Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought he was good in this. You know, I mean, it's not like this role is super demanding, maybe physically, but not acting wise. But I still
Yeah.
thought he did well, and I think the movie served well to have him in that role. With anyone else
Yes.
there, it might have been missing something. So, and it's cool.
Probably.
It's cool to see Bob Odenkirk. Definitely cool to see him doing this kind of thing. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, definitely. No, he did a good job.
And Sam, did you stick around? Did you see the post-credit sequence?
I did.
What'd you think?
It just kind of doubles down on the idea that, he's still in the game. And not only that, he's got his dad and his brother roped into it too.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was hilarious, actually.
They are a trio. And not like they're what is it, like an RV?
Yeah, it's a big RV of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's
just
a bunch of
mounds of guns in there.
They're just we're like, okay, sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it really had no bearing to the movie, and like we don't even know where they were going or what they were doing, but it was just kind of a funny 10-second thing. But
yeah.
Do you have anything else to say about Nobody, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, we're setting right into a sequel probably, which is fine. I mean, it's doing well at the box office. It really is. Well, for COVID times.
Let's see.
And it's doing well on Rotten Tomatoes, which is interesting.
I think it's like 91. I was just looking at it. Or 81. Yeah. Excuse me, 81.
Yeah, 81.
Which really for a ridiculous action movie is not bad.
Not at all. No.
It's got about 30 million at the box office. Figure that number would be doubled in a normal year. So
right.
Which isn't terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
It's doubled its budget. Let's just say that.
Yeah, the budget was 16.
So
all right. Well, yeah. That is really the extent of my thoughts on Nobody. Frankly, I'm impressed that we got that much out of it.
Got this much out of it? Yeah. Well, what's your star rating?
I'm gonna give Nobody 2.5 out of 5. I enjoyed parts of it. A lot of this like senseless violence, like comedic violence kind of action thriller is not my cup of tea.
Right.
But like I said, I got more out of it than I expected, so pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full star higher than you, 3.5. It's close.
Wow.
It's close to a 3 for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked this a lot. I really did, and it was it's something different. I haven't seen a movie like this in a while, especially since this is like a half blockbuster kind of, I guess. Like it's not really a blockbuster, but it's not a normal like drama movie that we typically do. So it was interesting to
Sure.
It was a nice change of pace to see something new.
Sure. Yeah.
But there we go. Nobody. Sam, I was thinking we have the Oscars episode in 2 weeks.
Yes, we do.
And I'm not sure what we're doing yet next week because there's not much out, but we're coming up. We're coming up on the long awaited date.
Yeah, we're getting pretty excited. Particularly because it's been pushed back this year, so our internal Oscars clock is off.
We would have already had it at this point by like a month and a half ago. So
yeah, we've been deprived.
But Sam, should we get into recommendations before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's get into the recommendations. I have one ready.
I do too. So you go for it though.
I mean, I see Bob Odenkirk and I think, how did I get into Bob Odenkirk? Little show called Better Call Saul. Let me tell you about Better Call Saul. Best show on television. Do I watch a lot of TV shows? No, not at all. Do I watch Better Call Saul? Yes, because it is cinematic in scope. The cinematography in Better Call Saul is unlike anything you will ever see. The episodes are long, contemplative, peppered with excellent dialogue, incredible acting, and it's a slow descent. And they are in the process of shooting season 6 right now, which will come out early next year, I believe. And they are like Breaking Bad, like its predecessor, the producers are deciding to end it early, not because of viewership concerns or anything like that. It's just that they're like, we feel that the story has been told. We set out to tell this story, and it will be told by the end of season 6, and that's the end of it. So watch Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say.
You gotta appreciate a show like that. You know, Sam, I have not seen a single episode of Better Call Saul. I've not seen a single episode of Breaking Bad. I know, and I'm a criminal for it. So I'll get around.
You're worse than a meth dealer.
I am. I'll get around to it eventually. It's definitely on the list. Trust me.
For sure.
When does the new season start?
I think it's early next year.
Okay.
Because the last one was like premiered February, March of last year.
Okay.
And obviously we got pushed back because of COVID. So
right. Alrighty. Well, there you go. Better Call Saul. My recommend for the week is a little ungeneric. I'm recommending an app, one that I use all the time.
Wow.
And it's not Letterboxd, but it's tangentially related to Letterboxd. It's called the Just Watch app. I know I don't know if Letterboxd and Just Watch kind of partner together or something, but you know, there's always been that feature on Letterboxd where you can go to the Just Watch website, but it's just so much more convenient to have the Just Watch app on your phone. It's so nice. You can just look up any movie and see exactly where it's at on streaming or renting or buying it, exactly how much money it costs and everything. It's the perfect service, perfect app to know where all of your movies you want to watch are. I use it all the time. Love it. So Just Watch is my recommendation for the week.
Absolutely. It's always good to know, especially in times like these where we can't get to the theater a lot because they're not playing a lot. But it's incredibly useful to know where you can watch something for the lowest possible price.
Right. Exactly. Super nice. Check it out. Just Watch, and check out Better Call Saul as well. But Sam, until next time, where can I find you on the Letterboxd?
You can find me on the Letterboxd at letterboxd.com/sjdierberger. And where can I find you, Will?
You can find me on the Letterboxd, which I'm pretty sure all the kids are calling it.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, at Will Spalding. And you can find us in our factory killing Russians, because that's what we do in our free time. Or you can also find us at anchor.fm/thosefilmnerds, or Those Film Nerds on all podcast platforms and YouTube, and Those Film Nerds on Instagram, and at thosefilmnerds@gmail.com. Email anything movie related into us, and we'd love to talk about it. But until next time, Sam.
Keep watching movies, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you.